Chapter 67, Penelope, Part 3.
These words feel crazy coming out of my mouth even though I've lived it, but no one is expressing doubt about my story. So let me get something about this straight, says Sly. The Paradox's time machine took me, and it was programmed that way deliberately, and it wasn't you, and it wasn't Raleigh. It was someone who gave you an order to pull off a job? Yes. Then the only logical explanation is it was someone who knows my family history. Maybe it was the Paradox. Oh, but it can't be him because he's still in prison, says Bentley. I'll even double check later on, offers Inspector Fox. You're not allowed tech of any kind in there. Mugshot and Ms. Ruby could also be contenders, says the Panda King. Remember, every Fiendish Five member had a little bit of Cooper's Thievius Raccoonus, including me. We compared notes once, and from what I've gathered, Ms. Ruby seems to be extremely deep in this, even if she's behind bars too. Are there other enemies this gang of yours has? Asked the ogre. Ones that would be aware of your history? I'm not sure, says Sly. There was the Contessa. She once told me herself she was aware of my family legacy, and she has a history of hypnosis power. The Contessa's out of jail right now, adds Inspector Fox, backing up Sly's theory. But from what I heard, she's now a successful realtor in South Africa and has a steady social media presence, she finishes, downplaying it. We still could easily look into her as a suspect. Maybe a little bit more of my story could help, I offer. They all shut up. Raleigh and I accepted the Jeddah-free job, and I told whoever it was that I would need to get some parts and work for a little while to make a new time machine from scratch in Raleigh's blimp. Not all of Bentley's plans were recoverable on my phone, and most had to come from memory. But with the code on my recovered phone stating Sly was in Egypt and the voice telling us to do the job at that time, I realized something truly was up with my anger. It was no surprise to me when, after we successfully stole the commune rocks, as you put it, that they had high concentrated levels of passive cortisol. It was at that point I realized I was truly manipulated into betraying the gang. It took a lot of willpower to not blow my cover then and there. I look everyone in the eye, including the new additions to the group. I've been horrible to you all, and I'm truly sorry. So, a few more questions, says Bentley innocently. Those postcards you sent me, the ones that led us to the pyramid, why did you lead us there? And why the secret code? Why not just send a letter? Raleigh was a genius near my level. I mean, he didn't have many street smarts, but alas, I wanted to send a note asking for your help. But I knew of a big chance he'd find out about it. I was living with him, for goodness sake. So I decided to send the edited postcards to avoid that. I thought whether or not you decoded them in a few weeks or months, the cards would put you guys on the trail to find Sly again on your own. And they did, so when we arrived in the pyramid, or more like when the two of you arrived, you looked surprised to see us, Bentley adds. Were you really? A little, I offer. I had an educated suspicion Sly was here, but I didn't think he'd be involved right at that moment. My mission was to go along and steal the rocks right before the time it was supposed to have blown up. I didn't realize Sly would be a part of all of it, nor his ancestors or anyone else in the gang. It wasn't in the job description. I didn't try to destroy you. Then why did you shoot at us with your glue gun? Asked Inspector Fox. Well, this might sound pathetic, but it's the cold, hard truth. When we got to ancient Egypt, I knew I was now in deep, and it seemed whoever was pulling the strings had a vast knowledge of my unknown history and working in the shadows, so I felt the best way to find out who manipulated me into breaking my values was to stay on the inside. I didn't want to hurt you guys and have you buried, but I couldn't make it seem like I was faking it. I had to keep it up. I kind of applaud that, says Branwell. That's some real journalism. So what happened after you got out of the Dodge that was the River Nile? Asked Dimitri. I did a scan and figured out what the rocks could do. Raleigh said he got the brunt of the next mission from Ms. Ruby herself, She'd apparently communicated telepathically with him and privately with him that an army for hire was given her permission to start making a drug out of these rocks, mixed with troubled blood in her old hideout in the Haitian jungle. Raleigh completely trusted Ms. Ruby, even more than me, which is not surprising. Raleigh mentioned casually one time that he offered Ms. Ruby a chance to escape with us too, but she said she felt safer escaping when the time was better. That sounds like how she acted before, says Inspector Fox. But there was a place we were told to stop at first. The Australian outback. The Australian realization registers on Bentley's face. Where you kidnapped the guru? With the rock's fumes, we drugged the guru into drowsiness and confusion without him knowing it. And we then got him hooked up. But why? Exclaims Murray. He's barely holding on, and he must have been strapped to that thing for days. It was kind of my idea. We were told the cortisol spiked blood we used to mix with this potion could apparently only work with Dreamtime magic, and I thought if we could manage to capture the guru, I'd gain full trust with Raleigh and realize who was really behind all this, and properly connect the dots. But in my defense, I did my best to keep the guru cared for behind the other soldiers' backs. I gave him water, extra food, medication if the pain got too bad, sleeping pills so he could rest, and he was aware of this. Once he wakes, whenever that will be, you can ask him. I realize this is making me come across as a little psycho. I wouldn't want to endure what I made the guru endure. I really thought there would be a chance I'd very soon get a hint as to who this mysterious boss was and shut this entire thing down. But they were all just so secretive or clueless. I still have no idea. Or at least I didn't until I realized a few days ago the Shadow Order was the force our secret boss hired. A few days ago? You could have blown your cover a little earlier, snaps Branwell. Thanks to you, Roger Silvio was able to get away with huge stacks of that potion. We now know it could ruin the world, and we don't know where it's all ended up. Yes, we do, I whisper. What? I left a tracking device no one else knows about on the plane. It's deep within, and I didn't tell anyone whatsoever. Bentley, I know this might be an off demand, but could I borrow your laptop and log in? Everyone turns to the guy. We're keeping an eye on you, he finally tells me as he opens and unlocks it. I didn't want to keep my cover under wraps, I say as I type in my password on Omega 7 track and it loads up. I did really want to just shoot and tase Raleigh and Mr. Silvio at the time and blow up the plane and thereby the potions, but I felt maybe I could stay incognito a little longer because I felt the mystery was nearly solved. I also felt whoever was doing this was powerful enough to kill us all if we didn't get to them first. But then Raleigh was about to kill you guys, and I knew I couldn't let that happen. And I couldn't save you all without blowing my cover. Well, now you owe us, says Murray. You need to really help us take these people down and get my master back to health. Yes, Murray, I will do whatever I can. Guys, it's loaded up now. Great, where's the plane? Asked the ogre. It's in California. It's going to my dad, I hear myself say. Your dad? Tongya, his name was? Yes and yes. How are you so sure they're going to him? Because that part of California is where he's from, and my dad is the head weapons dealer in the Shadow Order.